have leaders today from two wildly diverse but remarkable industries. We have Michael Cullum from Bud Financial. He leads technology and data at the company. We have Fausto Fleitas from Scott's Miracle-Gro, where he leads data science and engineering. And we have Vanjaj Handu from Quantify, where he leads, where he's a primary integration partner working with Scott's Miracle-Gro. So you're going to hear today incredible stories of how these companies, these industries are using AI to create really deeply personalized experiences for their customers and customers. And they're also unlocking some incredible insights for their enterprise customers. And I'm hoping we can learn also how Google Cloud is helping them to do this. So very welcome, everyone. So we'll start with you, Michael. So actually, first, show of hands. Who here feels like their bank really understands them, serves them super well, helps them on their financial journey? Show of hands, anybody? Nobody? Okay. So I'm not alone. I really want to know how I can figure out how to save money for my 5-year-old mechanical engineering PhD. But all I get is burger restaurant recommendations. So, Michael, you guys are on a mission to change this at Bud Financial. Can you tell us a little bit about the company, who are your customers, what are their pain points, and how are you looking to address them?
Yeah, firstly, thank you, Google, for having us, and thank you, everyone, for coming. I know Thursday, late in the day, everyone's probably a little bit tired, so thank you. Maybe just to start with an anecdote, a friend of mine very recently, they got a push notification from their banking app. Push notifications are quite intrusive to our lives, right? They come in right to the front of our lives, and it said, hey, do you want to increase your overdraft credit limit to £2,000? It was in the UK. And they were like, yeah, sure, why not? They clicked the button. They didn't care about increasing their overdraft credit limit. And then it said, oh, no, we can't actually do it because of our lending policies. And suddenly, this person this wasn't something they were looking for, and they were now frustrated and angry and annoyed at their bank. And that's a lack of personalization. That's a lack of understanding your customer. And at Bud, what we're doing is we work generally with banks, but other sort of fintechs, financial services companies, to help them understand their customer from transactional data. So doing that in an explainable way, and then delivering that in all the different business processes that require you to understand your customer. So personalization, MarTech, affordability decisioning, just making better decisions as a business. And that's where we're focused. And one of the two different ways, and obviously this is on conversational AI, that we do that is, for when it comes to consumers, we developed out a solution called Yaz, which essentially allows you to, as a consumer, to interact with your bank sort of in-app, be able to have conversations, but in a way that understands you as a customer, has that customer context. So when you say, hey, I'd like a mortgage, it understands your income. It understands, how much you're spending every month on Dunkin' Donuts and McDonald's, and maybe you could put that towards a bigger deposit and so on and so forth. And I think that's really critical to be able to have that same kind of relationship you used to have with your bank manager 50 years ago, and now, but in a more scalable and digital way.
I'm so excited for this, like hyper-personalization. I want this, so please keep going. Okay, Fausto, your CEO is on record saying they envision a world where people express themselves on their own piece of earth with virtually no limit to their creativity. So I'm an aspiring gardener, and I battle with a squirrel that eats everything that I plant. Am I your customer? Can you tell us a little bit about what does your customer look like? What is their journey? How are you helping them solve their creative visions?
Yeah, sure. You're definitely one of our customers.
Yes.
We strongly believe that gardening is an expression of how you feel, and you do that through nature. Gardening is an expression of how you feel, and you definitely do that through nature. Through that journey, we want to be there for you and answer all your questions. Ultimately, we want to provide the ultimate gardening experience, and that means not only offer the best products, the best advice, but also the best digital experiences. Mm-hmm. We believe that talking to our customers more frequently, more intuitively, we will be able to learn more about what they truly need, which will turn into better products and more personalized services. To achieve this vision, we are enhancing our websites with AI search and also an AI assistant called Ask Scotty or My Scotty, which it has the ability to talk to our customers with multi-turn, human-like conversations, providing a very comprehensive gardening experience.
That's awesome. I'm going to definitely go deeper because I recently bought a fertilizer for my internal plants and indoor plants, and they look great, and they're actually flowering now, so that's amazing. Vanchaj, can we get deeper a little bit? And Michael, the same question to you. Tell us a little bit about the stack and what Google Cloud products are foundational to My Scotty's experience, and then Michael, same question to you after Vanchaj. Thank you.
So My Scotty really provides two kinds of features to its end users. One is a very specific type of product recommendation feature. It's expecting the kind of context that a customer would typically provide, and then making a very specific product recommendation based on that context, based on where the customer is based, what kind of plants do they have, what do they actually want to do with that plant. The other feature that My Scotty has is around generalized advice. We want to make sure that our customers get all the experience from all the SMEs at Scott's Miracle-Gro and are able to care for their plants in the best possible way. So the tech stack is all based on Google Cloud. We use Vertex AI conversations to basically have the more human-like conversations. We use GenAI playbooks, which are rebranded as agents, I believe now. So we have the agentic workflow that allows us to navigate through the context of the end user and then make the very specific kind of product recommendation that they would need. And then obviously we use search to provide the kind of advice from our knowledge bases as well. So that's on the search and the conversation side of the tech stack. Additionally, we have a little bit of multimodality in Ask Scotty as well. It's not the typical LLM kind of multimodality. Ask Scotty can also see and understand plants because we want our customers to be able to upload pictures of the kind of plants and succulents that they might have. And then that is also an additional context that is fed into the conversational interface. So we use Vertex AI, I believe, custom image recognition models that we've handcrafted. And that helps in providing additional context for the conversation.
Fantastic. Same question for you. Can you tell us a little bit about your stack and maybe selfishly, why are we a good partner? Why are we the right partner for you?
Yeah, of course. So we train our own models from scratch. We do that in sort of our offline data environment, which runs on GKE. And throughout that, being able to have good access to GPUs and so on to be able to train those models, being able to have that really flexible system that makes it really easy for our data scientists to worry about training models and not sort of having to worry about infrastructure in a way that will slow them down. Once our models kind of come through to production, we then run them again on GKE, if you're spotting a theme. And there we're using a mix of sort of the TPUs, GPUs, Intel compute optimized machine types. And that allows us to have a really clear balance between performance, latency, cost, and also making it really easy to scale and really easy to manage in production. And then, so that's kind of our own models that we train ourselves. But obviously, we're talking about, there's conversation elements as well. And for that, we use Gemini through the Vertex AI API suite. And so when we started our journey, it was back when it was Gen AI App Builder for anyone who was using it back then. And
Vintage.
I think then it's gone through three or four different names. Vertex Conversation, I think it is now. But so, and that really enabled us to iterate really quickly. And I think that's key in any generative technology and sort of usage of it, iterating really quickly, getting as far as you can, as quickly as you can. And then from there, we then sort of looked for more flexibility, and that's when we sort of moved more towards the API side of things. But yeah, it was really helpful to be able to sort of, especially give us that initial kickstart using sort of the UI and the tools, and now Agent Builder, which I'll be having a look at with the team once I get back to the UK.
Awesome. I'll stay with you for a second. So in your space, in order to actually serve your mission, you have to understand the customer, you have to understand the products, you have to understand where the customer is in their life stage in order to serve them. And by the way, do that all in a highly regulated space, right? Sounds simple, not really. So how are you integrating your product, your customer knowledge with all of these AI capabilities to deliver this personalization? And how are you measuring your success? I think in AI, like the right metric is very important, especially in conversational experiences, which are qualitative in nature.
Yeah, I think the key part of it is it all starts at explainability and transparency with the consumer as you're going through that journey. You can't just say, hey, this is the mortgage that we think you would be relevant for. You have because you've gone and assumed what their income is, explaining how you got there, why you think that's their income, and so on. And that's why when we do that, build that understanding of customer, we do that from transactional data, and we train models specifically for that purpose. When it kind of comes into conversation, I think the key thing is user feedback and analysis of what you're doing there. There are certain journeys that you need to make sure are deterministic, and this is actually a great thing that Vertex AI Conversation does out of the box. But sort of once you move into APIs and sort of focusing on the orchestration layer, it's not a case of just throwing the data at the API. Once you sort of need those deterministic journeys, it's a case of, okay, if this is the route that the consumer is going down, we need to make sure that we say these very specific things, validating your responses and so on, to make sure that you're not falling foul of any regulation. And that's something I think with playbooks as well can really help with.
Especially in advice, right? It's an interesting line, right? But you want to be helpful, so we have to figure this out. All right, your AI search capability, I mean, I'm definitely going to be a user. I'm constantly taking pictures of plants and figuring out how to care for them. So can you tell us a bit, Fausto, about how you're using Vertex Search to go beyond just keyword matching, how it's helping your customers find the right data?
Sure. So we have a lot of blogs and articles that teach consumers about gardening. However, when you have a question, like trying to find the right article is not very intuitive. With Vertex AI Search, we're able to allow to our customers to express what they're looking for in a more natural way. And basically, Vertex AI returns, to my opinion, amazing summaries with citations. And now the consumer can read the summary. And then if they're interested, they can go and read the full article. That makes the whole experience a lot more intuitive. In terms of more specific, with going away from keyword search, now it allows us to actually provide more relevant, but not only more relevant, more semantically related results, even when the user query does not have the specific keywords that they need to put in the typical way. This allows them, as I said, to express what they're looking for in a more natural way and still get results that are extremely meaningful. This is possible because Vertex AI Search actually represents the user queries in what is called an embedding space. In that embedding space, you can actually detect concepts and context. And from there, you can then derive similar results that are very meaningful. The integration has been quite seamless, I would say. This is possible because Vertex AI hides a lot of the complexity to implement this use case. You don't have to deal with indexing, with managing vector databases. You don't have to deal with RAG or retrieval. So the implementation has been very straightforward and of great use to us.
That's awesome to hear. So on your journey, have you encountered any challenges, especially given the really kind of heavy use cases that you're handling, both on the financial wellness side and on affordability, which has to do with risk? What learnings have you realized? Maybe touch on some of the technologies that are helping you, especially if they're Google Cloud technologies, to address these challenges.
Yeah, and you mentioned about sort of accuracy and the highly regulated nature of the space, and I think the key thing is finding a way to be able to go and test what you're doing in a scenario, in a situation that is safe. and that minimizes that risk. So a good example of this is sort of the Yaz agent I talked about. Like we've tested that internally with customer agents before sort of looking to roll that out into the public domain, so that you can get that assurance and understanding of how is this going to respond in the wild? Is this doing performing as we expect? Is all of our validation logic making sure that like again kind of working as intended and within that risk appetite, which is a term we use a lot in regulated industries. You know, what risk can your business reasonably handle and absorb? So yeah, I think finding a way to make sure that you can test the sort of more exciting opportunities in that sort of in the sandbox.
Awesome. Vanshaj, what about your journey? Have there been some interesting challenges? I mean, you guys are doing multimodal things, all kinds of actions that a customer is taking. Tell us about the challenges and, again, some of the tooling that is helping you.
So product recommendation specifically at Scott's is a little different from how we would typically see at a e-commerce website or from your favorite streaming website, right? So streaming websites or e-commerce will say customers like you also like these maybe 5 to 10 options, right? That's not something that we can do at Scott's, right? If you provide Anna with 5 options to do something for her plans, probably 3 of them are not going to help her at all. Maybe 1 may be detrimental to her plans as well, right? So we have to be very specific about the kind of product recommendation that we have to make. It has to be unique. It has to be very well contextualized to the end user. So that's one challenge, and that's where we're trying to leverage Gemini as sort of like a Gemini and the agents in a workflow that allows us to make those specific product recommendations. So that's one part that's been a challenge for us. The other one is because a lot of our guidance and advice is through knowledge base articles that Scott's has generated through their research, through their SMEs for over multiple years, right? So we want our customers to have the most accurate and the most up-to-date information, right? So I know we've heard a lot about data governance being a challenge in structured data, and a lot of progress has been made in data governance for structured data through new tooling in the open source through Google Cloud and other technologies. But in the unstructured data domain, it's still a new problem that we really haven't figured out yet. It's going to be an ongoing challenge, I believe, for us to work through that. But we all know data governance is not a one and done type of activity, right? So leveraging LLMs there to generate more metadata typically helps. We want to make sure that we have, like I said, the most accurate and the most up-to-date information from all the research that Scott's does available to their end customers.
So you are relentlessly innovating for your customers. That's what unites you, and you're trying to do this in a very personalized way. Fausto, and Michael and Vanshaj, to close before we switch to Q&A, what is kind of the best improvement in your relationship with your customers that you can think of that using all of this technology that Google Cloud provides has helped you achieve? Maybe start with Fausto.
Sure. The integration of Google technologies has allowed us to accelerate extremely the development of products that are more relevant, and they provide a more personalized experience to our consumers. As I said, it's critical to us that we talk to them frequently, that we understand what they're looking for, that they communicate with us in a natural way, in such a way that we will be able to better understand them. And basically, with the latest innovation that Google has done, and not only with the latest LLM models, but also with agents, is something that has allowed us to accelerate that journey significantly.
Michael, same for you.
I think trust. If you get a personalized message and outreach, you're more than twice as likely to respond to that. And that's great for improving revenue and being able to sell more products. But then the flip side is not being personalized means that you're actually actively damaging your relationship with your customers. In 2024, personalization is not optional anymore, and I think it's a key thing on everyone's mind. And the question is obviously how to go about doing it. So yeah.